Shashi Tharoor's possible entry into the Congress presidential race has actually generated a lot of interest. It is precisely because Shashi Tharoor is hugely popular outside the Congress periphery. But unfortunately, it is not the ordinary people, but it is the Congress workers who elect the Congress president. So unless Shashi Tharoor is popular among the Congress workers, it will not be possible for him to get elected as the president. But still the picture is hazy. Nobody knows who will be the candidates. There are conflicting reports. On one side, Ashok Gehlot is asked by, was reportedly asked by Sonia Gandhi to enter the fray. If that is true, then he will be the official candidate of the Gandhis, or indirectly the Gandhis may promote Ashok Gehlot. But Shashi Tharoor meanwhile met Sonia Gandhi, and it is reported that the Sonia Gandhi told Shashi Tharoor that the contest will be free and fair and the Gandhis will not back any particular nominee. So we'll have to wait and see how will the Congress presidential race really plays out. But meanwhile, the interesting question is, what are the pluses and minuses of Shashi Tharoor? If he really becomes the Congress president, can he revive the Congress party? Well, it's true that the Congress fortunes have been sagging. Congress has been witnessing series of reversals ever since 2014. So, will Shashi Tharoor infuse the much needed vitality into the Congress organization? So, the question is a $1 million question. Well, let me tell first the minuses of Shashi Tharoor and then talk about the positives of Shashi Tharoor too. To begin with, Shashi Tharoor is not a grassroots leader. To build a party is quite different from articulating on a public fora. Somebody who has very good debating skills need not necessarily be a good organizational man. So the biggest challenge for the Congress is to rebuild the party organization, especially at a time the Congress is fighting a robust organization of the Bharatiya Janata Party led by Narendra Modi and Amit Shah. So therefore, Shashi Tharoor, though was elected thrice to Lok Sabha from the Thiruvananthapuram, certainly lacks that certainly has not proven his organizational acumen. Well, he is still an untested man as far as the party organization is concerned. He will certainly be a very effective Congress spokesperson. But will he become an effective Congress president? So his election to the Lok Sabha is more due to the Congress party strength and less due to his personal skills. Then the second question is, Shashi Tharoor may not enjoy the support of Gandhis. Whether Gandhis will openly back any candidate or not, perhaps may not, but certainly Gandhis will influence the outcome of the Congress presidential race, precisely because they are not withdrawing from the Congress politics. So they would love to have power without responsibility. So by all reports, the Congress High Command, at the present High Command of the Congress, is looking towards the leaders like Mallikharjun Kharge, Ashok Gehlot, who will certainly not outsmart Rahul Gandhi. But Shashi Tharoor, if elected to the Congress president, will certainly outsmart Rahul Gandhi. So therefore, without the backing of the Gandhis, it may perhaps be very difficult for Shashi Tharoor to win. We have seen the British Conservative Party elections. Rishi Sunak was hugely popular among party MPs, but he lost the support of the party workers. And one of the reasons attributed was the Boris Johnson's hostility towards Rishi Sunak. Johnson reportedly told his supporters, you can elect anybody but except Rishi Sunak. So therefore, Gandhis will definitely have a decisive say on who will be the future president of the Congress. Then the third aspect is Shashi Tharoor comes from southernmost state Kerala. Congress is already popular in South India, but the biggest challenge for the Congress party is the Hindi-speaking states in the North India. Well, if you look at the Indian polity, the Indian political geography, it is just not possible for the Congress to capture reins of power in New Delhi without defeating the BJP in the northern Hindi heartland. Well, this demands that the Congress party president should be someone who is hugely popular among the Hindi-speaking masses. Shashi Tharoor perhaps can speak in Hindi, but he doesn't fit into this kind of a condition that is very, very crucial for the Congress to successfully challenge Modi Jagannath. Then the fourth aspect is loyalty to the Congress is also is a matter of suspicion. Well, he has been with the Congress, consistently with the Congress, and he has written books, he has written articles, he has articulated the Congress vision. But at the same time, there are times when he was critical about Modi, but there are times when he was even sympathetic to the Modi. Well, everybody knows that Shashi Tharoor, being a intellectual of outstanding ability and competence, cannot be confined to a particular ideological spectrum. So therefore, he may take a position at times contrary to the Congress traditional position, and he will hold his personal popularity much superior to the Congress popularity. So therefore, how much the average Congress worker believe is unflinching loyalty to the Congress party is a matter that will decide his success rate in the ensuing presidential elections. Then the question again comes is, what are the pluses? Now I have been telling you about the negatives of Shashi Tharoor. Let me also tell you the positives of Shashi Tharoor. If you look at the 2019 elections, according to an estimate, among the age group of 18 to 25 years, the Congress could get only 19% of votes, whereas the BJP could get 41% of votes. There is a humongous gap between the Congress vote tally and the BJP vote tally in the younger voter or the first time voters. So these young voters or the first time voters will prove to be critical in 2024 also, because they are largely apolitical and they are not carried away by the past baggage. So therefore the Congress has to attract the young voter to successfully checkmate the Modi led BJP. Shashi Tharoor is certainly a perfect choice. Is with his huge social media following, and his admirers will cut across the political affiliations. He has a tremendous influence on the younger voters, much beyond the Congress traditional periphery. Then thus he will be a very big asset for the party. But the question remains is, how will this popularity actually translate into voting? Then the second aspect is, well, he has a story to tell, because to be successful in politics, you need to have a story to tell. Arvind Kejriwal has a story to tell, having come from the IIT and having come from a very illustrious academic and professional career, participated in the anti-corruption movement for clean politics and clean governance. So he has that story to tell. Narendra Modi, having not born with a silver spoon in his mouth, having come from a very humble background, rose to the pinnacle of glory in political life. So he has a story of Chaiwala story to tell. Unfortunately, Rahul Gandhi doesn't have a story to tell, and his dynasty moorings are a liability rather than an asset, essentially because young Indian is not so convinced or not so inspired by the dynastic background. So therefore, Shashi Tharoor also has a story to tell. Having come from a urban middle class background, he has an outstanding academic and professional career. So he has studied in one of the top universities in the West, which is the dream of the young Indian today. He has worked in the United Nations at the level of Under Secretary General and has contested as an Indian nominee to the Secretary General of UNO. Well, this is a wonderful story to tell. And not just his exciting vocabulary, his wonderful English, and his articulation and debating skills. All these are certainly a story to tell. That's the second positive thing of Shashi Tharoor. So then the third aspect was, well, he will appeal very effectively to the post-liberalization Indian voters, because the sociology and the politics of electorate in India have significantly changed. It is a consumerist India, it is a commodified India, it is a corporate influenced India. So therefore, Shashi Tharoor will certainly be very more better connected to this kind of a changed political sociology of India. However, a word of caution is essentially here. There has been a substantial decline in the representation of professionals in the Indian legislatures. I'll just give you the figures of the PRS India research, according to which the lawyers constituted 32% of Indian Lok Sabha, in India's first Lok Sabha. This fell to 7% in 2014 and further declined to 4% in 2019. At a time when the share of professionals into the India's legislatures is declining, well, Shashi Tharoor's will be a very interesting experiment to watch. If you look at the articulating intellectuals or even non-articulating intellectuals, most of them are made to Rajya Sabha only. The Oxford, Cambridge intellectual Manmohan Singh contested for Lok Sabha only once in 1999. He lost the elections. Arun Jaitley, one of a very celebrated Supreme Court lawyer, lost the Lok Sabha elections and was made the finance minister through the Rajya Sabha suit. Nirmala Sitharaman, very qualified economist, was also elected to Rajya Sabha. She was not elected. Venkaiah Naidu, a very articulating personality, though has come from grassroots politics, but was never elected to Lok Sabha. He was only in Rajya Sabha, and finally all his political positions owe to his Rajya Sabha membership only. Sitaram Yechury, who was the Delhi University, who was the All India topper in higher secondary and was on the top ranker in Delhi University and Jawaharlal Nehru University, was also elected to Rajya Sabha twice. So Abhishek Singh Manvi, Kapil Sibal, who are one of the illustrious lawyers of Supreme Court, are all elected to the Lok Sabha. I can give you a long list of people who were elected to Rajya Sabha only. I can give you a long list of people who could make to Rajya Sabha, or even if they make to Lok Sabha, it is precisely because of the party rather than the person. So therefore, Shashi Tharoor may become a disruptive brand. So this is an age of disruptive technologies. Say a technology that really creates an impact which nobody has ever imagined. Well, will Shashi Tharoor be a disruptive brand for the Congress? This is something only the future can tell.